Hello, everyone. My name's Sean Ellis, and I'm with Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. I am your host tonight, and we have an amazing guest on tonight, Mr. Shane Mclain, and he will be on from Outer Realm Paranormal. And tonight, I also have a special co-host tonight that just appeared, and we will bring her on as well. Hello, Miss Pam.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
How's your weekend been?
Pretty busy. Pretty busy.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, we have a really good guest on. His name is Mr. Shane Mclain with Outer Realm Paranormal. I seen him on Victor Santiago's podcast one time, and he had some very interesting things to say. I agreed with a lot of things he said, actually, and I chimed in on the conversation there a few times as well. And he's also been a guest judge on Victor's show along with me and you as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we all got together. So let's bring on Shane here.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, Shane.
Hey, Mister, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's a
Good.
pleasure being here with you guys.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And my condolences go out to your wife and your director
UK
there.
director.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
YouTube director as well. And we will have another show when we can have them on there too as well.
absolutely, absolutely. We look forward to that. We're heavy into para unity, para family, para community. So we want to see the positive side of paranormal come to fruition because this is a mess what's been going on with teams and stuff. And my motto for this team is be the change that you want to see. In order for us to be the change, we have to want change, right?
Right.
I
That's
definitely
that's
agree with
awesome.
that.
And my
I definitely
condolences
agree with
also, Shane, to your wife.
Thank you, Miss Van. Thank you, thank you.
I'm just going to double check here and make sure we're live on our pages here. And we are.
It
Okay.
says live right up. Yeah, it
Yeah.
says live. My wife
Yeah.
is watching it.
Yeah, we've had some issues with Facebook here where it doesn't pop up quite right, and some people can't chime in and talk like they should. But
Right.
Right,
so
right.
I noticed that you were on Victor Santiago's show. He's a great
Yeah.
host, and me and you both been judges on his show. That's his
hmm
singing show. That's been pretty amazing. I think got some great talent on there.
He does
Um,
a great job.
Yes.
I seen the interview he had with you guys, and I was really impressed with a lot of things you guys said. And I was like, I'd like to have him on my show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So,
And I
how did you?
appreciate your goal to be um, being able to unify with other teams and be the positive. I mean,
Well, well. First of all, when I first started Outer Realms, I was part of another organization to where I was a executive chapter recruiter. And what I did is I went into different states and stuff like that, and I was finding directors for each state. That's where I found Shaney in the UK and things like that. But when I ended up leaving that organization, I told them because we started building a great relationship with each other. And when I left, they were like, well, we want to go with you. So I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I've got all these people, directors from everywhere that don't want to be there, and I don't want to feel like I'm pulling anybody's team. But there was no growth. There was no growth with them, so Shaney came with me first, and within an hour, my wife and I were talking, and we thought of Outer Rims Paranormal, and then Outer Rims Paranormal UK division. Within an hour, we had pages up, and so we've been growing and branching out to other teams. I'm friends with a lot of like big name people, big name teams. And we share on each other's platform. We try to bring the positive side paranormal out, because people are living off that drama and stuff like that, and I don't have that. I won't allow that
Right.
on our pages. Conversations, nothing like that. I don't have it. I'm not going to, because I believe if we're going to build a positive field, then we need to realize that we're all adults. Number one, and number
Right.
two, perception is reality.
Exactly.
A
Right.
lot of what you agree and don't agree with don't have to be public, making somebody look bad, because the way
Exactly.
that I see something on a piece of evidence may be different than the way you see something. That doesn't mean that we can't be friends from it.
Right.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's a great explanation, because there's so much negative out there, and they're so into trashing somebody else and ruining somebody else that,
Right.
being the positive is what you need to focus on and growing further.
That's right.
So it's great to hear you say that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that's a good thing to do, because I do that as well. I mean, you got young teens just starting out that's trying to understand this as well, and
Hmm.
you can't sit there and condemn them for trying to figure out and what they think they've caught or what they've done. I mean, you got to sit down and kind of explain things to them, and hey, and they get their own perspective,
Right.
what they get or what not.
And I think
Yeah,
the other thing is giving them the support that they need, So, I mean,
that's another good thing. And I've
uh-huh.
noticed I've got a lead investigator in New York, and I don't know if you guys know, but teams that are based in New York, if you don't have 2 to 5 years experience in the field, like, you can't even really get on a team. Well, how about people that are always interested but don't have that? So
Right.
what I've done at Outer Realms is that if you have no experience, I have a place for you. If you've got presidential experience, I've got a place for you. So I have left this field open for growth, because if I grow, we grow.
Right.
And I'll always bring my team with me. I don't ever do things, without my team. I don't make decisions without my directors. I've got a co-director, Erin Wing. I've got my wife, who's a founder. She's really big, and we run Outer Realms, like a well-oiled machine. So, and I really enjoy doing what I do.
Hello,
Yeah.
David.
And it's really important to have that positive attitude, because what you put out is what you're going to get. That's what I always say. If you put out bad, you're going to get bad.
Right, right.
So if somebody out there is talking shit about somebody, it's just going to come back on them.
That's right. That's right. And if they do that, if they do, then they're, one thing I've always noticed, that if you are really quick to talk about someone else,
Mm-hmm.
then they would be quick to talk about you to someone else. So
Exactly.
I don't allow that. I don't let that come in conversations. Um, we try to build each other on a very positive.
Right.
My motto for our team is, be the change that you want to see. And we have to, if we want change and we want to be the change, we actually have to change and do things differently.
Yeah, you have to act the part.
Mhm.
And so, I don't participate in the bad things that, there's been podcasts out there in the past where all they did was trash somebody. And
Right.
you know what? I mean, for what reason? I mean,
Mhm.
they could use their energy somewhere else.
That's it. That's it.
But
And
if
that's what's
they're that
making people
lame,
scared. Yeah. They're making people scared. It's making people scared to get into the field, because I know a lot of big people in this field, and I've gotten messages from them that says, I'm going to finish 2024 out and then I'm done. These are guys, I'm not talking about average. I'm talking about people that have been in this field 30, 40 years, ready
yeah,
to walk away because of all the drama that
yeah,
goes on between the paracons, between online things. And it's just gotten way out of hand. We need to build this community for how great it is. In order for us to do that, we have to be the change in the paranormal community that we want to see.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree, and be able to share our knowledge with each other and
Right.
some of the stuff that we've got.
And
so
even
we
if
can
you don't
understand
agree
it
with
better.
it, doesn't mean you have to say anything bad about somebody.
Exactly.
I mean,
Perception
you
is
have
reality.
exactly. It is what you think it is. It's no reason
Mhm.
to say something bad about somebody else. So,
Yep.
you know, I never ever thought that this field would have so much drama. I was so shocked by it. But then
Mhm.
again, I have to realize, look who's saying it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'm not saying anything about anyone, but you know,
That's one of the things when I started this new team this year is that
yeah,
I'm not going to tolerate the drama or anything. That I'm going to
exactly.
keep this team out of it.
So kudos to you. I'm so happy to hear what you have to say about that, and thank you for doing that.
Yes, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, right? And I want to stand for my people. I want to stand for this industry. I want to stand for people who actually do believe in what we do here. In order
Right.
for that to happen, you can't have all the drama. And so, what are you going to do? Carry that into an investigation with you? You want to argue with me about something that I heard or you heard? Man,
Right.
come on, let's grow up.
Right.
We're
That's
adults.
my main thing is really I thought there was adults here,
Right, right.
but they're just being children. So
That's it. That's it.
that's how
Yeah,
I have to look at it.
High school melodramatics.
Right.
very well so.
Very well said. But anyway, we'll skip now to go on to the next.
Okay.
But I definitely agree with you there, Shane, without a doubt.
Thanks.
So,
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
how did you get into the paranormal itself?
Um, I like to say my first paranormal experience when I was like 9 or 10 years old. Um, I was standing in a mirror that my grandfather made. He made a mirror, and of course, when you grow up in your grandmother's Southern Baptist, you're in church Wednesdays, Thursday Bible study, Sunday. So I was there just adjusting my time. My grandfather had passed probably 2 weeks before this happened. And I was adjusting my tie and I looked in and he was standing behind me. So he had his hand on my shoulder and I turned around to look at him and he was gone. So I had my first experience with that because I didn't want to tell my grandmother, but later on we got home and we both went to sleep. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, his room was right across from the one I was in. I saw steam coming out his bathroom. So I was like, there's no way. So I went in there and I opened his bathroom door was shut. The hot water was cut all the way on in the shower. All right. So I cut that off, turned it back, the steam went out. What I saw next really shocked me. My grandfather was chief lieutenant for SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. So he had a routine every day. He would fold the bed back. He would open up his closet. He would pull a suit out, and he would put a suit onto the bed with shoes at the bottom of the floor. His bed was pulled back. The closet was open. A suit was out on the bed with shoes on the floor, and the shower was on.
Wow.
My grandmother walked in, and she thought I did it. She said, "What is this a joke?" I said, "No, I didn't do this." And so that was a big experience. And, I've been chasing the truth behind this my whole life. 46 and still chasing it.
Still a lot of questions, without a doubt.
Well, I think that everything is a message.
Mm-hmm.
And if they if people have routines like he did,
Hmm.
I believe that that continues because I think that, you know, especially when you live somewhere for years and
Hmm.
you have this routine, it's like your residual energy is still there.
That's
And
right. Right.
and so I believe that wholeheartedly.
Mm.
And not, you know, it's not doesn't mean it's going to happen every time,
Yeah.
and it's not going to happen for everyone.
Hmm.
Um, but I believe that they do pick and choose because they know who can see and hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
You know, it didn't happen again after that. You know, my grandmother kept a real tidy house. You know, you could bounce a quarter off the beds, you know,
yeah,
so I mean there was no wrinkles, nothing in it. So when she made the bed back up, put the suit back, and it never happened again. Never happened after that point.
but it didn't
Um,
need to. He got his
mhm,
message across.
that's it.
You seen it, and that's
Yeah.
what you know. He didn't need to do it again.
It was
Right.
almost like a sign he was okay.
Hmm.
Right.
That's what he said. That's another thing, you know. And the one last thing, the weird that I saw is when I was by his bed. You know, when someone sleeps in a bed, you know, you can see their feet pattern
Hmm.
down by the bottom of the bed.
Hmm.
His foot patterns were raised up
Yes.
in the bed, and you can see the toes and I mean, it's and ever since then, you know, my my quest for answers and the paranormal started. So it was pretty easy for me to really step forward and get into this because I've always been into it.
Yeah. I think mine started, like I said, back about the time I was 21. And I had an incident with my grandma after she passed away when she appeared in the church where I used to go to church at. And
Mm.
there was a mist across the floor, and she sat down next to me. And she was young, like she was when she got married. And she said, "Don't you worry about a thing. You're going to make it." And ever since then, I've kind of been answering the same questions you have in some aspects.
I think everybody has questions. It's just
Mm.
that we all um, seem to we're wanting something different, or you
Mhm.
know, we're after something different. For me, I've come to the conclusion that I don't ask questions. I just accept what comes because if I feel like I'm holding it back, if I'm leaving a question, and that to me, if I'm asking a question, then I didn't get the message to begin with.
Right.
So for me, it's a little bit different. I have learned to accept and move on and
Yeah,
keep
of
going,
course.
you know, even though I guess I just want to say that I don't ask why. I used to, but I don't anymore.
Mm.
I don't ask why because I think it's for us to know later.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And so
I agree.
whatever messages that, you know, I can get. Do you look like your grandmother?
I do. I do.
Did she wear an apron a
Yes.
lot?
Yes, ma'am.
And she had the black shoes with the hose that come to her knees.
I can't remember that part, but she was a little old Irish woman,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah. That was the closest woman in my life was my grandmother.
Yeah.
Um, and after she passed away, um, I started getting heavy visions and premonitions, and I don't know where they came from, but when I get them, it's almost like I go into. But I found out my grandmother had that too. My grandmother had it to where she got heavy premonitions, and I'm talking like the day that she passed away. You know, I already knew that she passed away before
Before you found out.
before they told me.
Yeah.
So I have that from her. So, but yes, I do look like my grandma.
Yeah, I thought so. Did she kiss you on the cheek a lot? Something about your
Yeah.
cheek?
Yeah. Oh, she would pinch my cheek.
Yeah, your cheek. Yeah.
Hmm.
Crazy. Crazy.
She would pinch my cheek, and you know, her and my granddad both came over here from Ireland in the early 1900s. And
Did she
she
have
was my
reddish
favorite.
hair? Or was that your grandfather?
Well, my grandmother, she had reddish blonde,
Yeah.
but it turned white. So she had a lot of white hair, and I don't know if you guys know, when they go to their beautician or whatever, they come out and their hair looks blue. I've
Yeah.
never really understood that, but that's what I remember about my grandmother's hair. It was always blue.
Well, I can tell you why. It's because it's hard for gray hair to take color.
Mm.
Because gray hair is coarse. So
Mm.
that's why you've seen that. But I know she had red hair, reddish, blondish hair.
She did. Yes, ma'am. She did.
Interesting.
I wish I had a picture. I got a picture that I could show you her with her white hair and stuff like that. And it was crazy because my grandmother was literally 5'1". My grandfather was 6'4", 285 pounds.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy dynamic, but it worked.
Yeah, my grandma was barely 5 foot as well. And my mom's 5 foot with her shoes on. So,
you know, they say dynamite's in small packages, and I can say that to be true because we were at Thanksgiving one time, and my grandfather had a thing to where he would say "Heavenly Father" real loud, and then he go, and then he go, "Amen" at the end, and I looked and I said, "Amen, brother Ben shot the rooster, killed the hen." While my grandmother came across that table with an oven mitt, and she goes, "Don't you ever do that again." And I was like,
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Great memories. And that's the kind of things that they want you to remember. So
that's it.
yeah. Anything to make you smile is what they're after.
So, being in the paranormal field, how does your friends treat you?
Are you talking about my friends? Well, my friends that I do work with, we have a wonderful relationship. My directors, everybody, we have our own separate chat. We have a daily chat where we get on, and we actually get on video like this. And you know, there would be 7, 8 of us sometimes on there, and but other than that, you know, like I told you guys, I'm in dialysis. You know, I have end-stage renal failure, but on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm in dialysis. So, but other than that, I don't ever let this stop me. I'm never gonna let it, because you guys will hear my calling in a little while. And being a paranormalist is great, but there's a higher calling there that I utilize, and I take it very seriously. I am a licensed and ordained minister. I was a pastor for 3 years. I specialize in spiritual warfare and demonology. I'm a demonologist. So I help families. Like for instance, I don't know if you guys heard of David Payne for Project Dark Knight Horror. He's got a huge YouTube channel. He's a friend of mine, and he's in the UK, but he'll reach over to me and give me cases from people on his show in the US,
Oh, wow.
and I'll help with those cases. And I've done one of my nurses from dialysis. She had an NT that was affecting her 4-year-old daughter. So that's what I do when I say that I'm a part of the other side of paranormal. See, that's the side that people don't really like to step into. And you know, you go in to help families and you stir things up, and you don't know how to properly cleanse and bless the house. Then all you've done is just stir it up for them. And I've never understood people that can feel good about doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I've seen that happen.
yeah, kudos to you, because that would take special people to do that, I think.
Yeah, it does. It
It's
does.
like I told people before. You've got to have balance of both sides in order to understand all. And if you don't,
Yeah.
you're not going to get it.
Yeah. And I always thought, the other side would be bad. You know what I mean? But I was looking at it wrong,
Right.
Well,
And
Jimmy,
it's not bad. It's
No.
really not bad, because you'd be surprised how many people really do need help, but they
Yeah.
just don't know where to turn. Because
Right.
you have modern churches today that you go up to them and tell them that you have an issue, and they'll say, "Oh, I'll pray for you," but they'll preach on spiritual warfare, but not do too much about it.
Right.
I'm going to be the change that I want to see. I am going to do something about it. And if it takes the last breath out of me helping a family that doesn't understand, making them understand and getting rid of that problem, so
Yeah.
be it. I'll take my last breath doing it.
Yeah, I just made a sign and that said that exact same thing. Be the change that you want to see.
That's my
Yeah.
team's motto.
Yeah, I mean, it was gone in a heartbeat. It didn't last 24
I
hours.
definitely agree with that. Why do you think some of these churches have stepped away from helping people like they used to?
Fear. It's not. I mean, outside. The term exorcism is a Catholic term.
Mhm.
It's a Catholic term. So, being able to deal with spiritual warfare, and it's like they read Ephesians chapter 6 talking about the armor of God, and it's so easy for them to preach on it, but when somebody has a problem, it's like, okay, I'll pray for you, and oh, we'll have a meeting, and we'll pray for you. No one's like, I'll come to your house and help bless your house. It's like it's a fear level, and I
Right.
get it. I get it. You don't like to talk about that other side because it will make you question a lot of things too. But
Right.
I do this because, number one, I love God with all my heart. Number two, I love people with all my heart, which is a commandment that Jesus left us anyway.
Right.
And number three, I am called to this. So whether I want to do this or whether I don't want to do this, God's not going to let me not do this, because this is what I've been called to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
I agree with that 100%.
I have a question for you, Shane.
Okay.
If there was anything that you could change in the paranormal field, what would it be and why?
If I can change anything in the paranormal field, well, when you tell somebody, when you believe that perception is reality, you know, if you really look at your brothers and sisters of the paranormal as brothers and sisters, then you can actually have, solid communication with them. Don't let money get in the way. Don't let pride get in the way. Don't let ego get in the way. you know, and you know, like I told you, I know people that after 2024, after 30, 40 years in this field, they're leaving the field because of how it is now. So, I mean, if I can change anything, is I would change people to get back. You know, when you first fall in love with a woman, when you first fall in love with a woman, like, remember that feeling that you felt when you first fall in love with that person? That's how I want us to feel about the paranormal field. I want us to go back to where we first started, to come into this field with a fresh perspective and say, I really do want to be the change that I want to see. And if things are going to change, it needs to start with me. And if it starts with me, then it can start with you. Starts with you, it can start with everybody else. And then eventually people will catch on that there is this trident growth of possibility that's going on in this field. So if I could change one thing, it would be that.
Yeah,
Great answer.
yeah,
I agree.
that says a lot right there in itself.
Yeah, it does. Says a lot.
I just, like I said, it's crazy on how people treat other people at times, and there's no reason for it. But
There's no. It
No.
makes me sad. It
Yeah.
makes me sad because it's like I literally know a team that separated because of a piece of evidence. Evidence.
Hmm.
And I just don't. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Because, if you've noticed, people don't share evidence as much as they used to.
Right.
True.
Because when you share evidence, you're opening it up for a lot of criticism. And, you've got a lot of debunkers out there. You got people who like just throw it up. Guys, listen, perception is reality. I know what I saw. I know what I captured.
Right.
It is not up to you to say what it is when I already know what it is. Why can't you just be a civil person and be like, well, I don't see it that way, but you do, and kudos to you, and move on, and move on.
That's how that's how I have always been with Sean. I mean, a lot of people see faces and stuff. I just don't. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to down someone because they do,
Exactly.
Right.
And every one of us perceives things differently too. So you can't judge.
100%.
Yeah. So, and to be, able to accept someone else's perception, it's a big deal. And people don't get it. People don't get it. That's why there's so much separation in this field. It's terrible.
You have to accept people right where they are for who they are. And you can't change anyone. You can't change anyone. The only thing that you could do is change your perspective of that person.
True. One of the things when I started this new team this year is, I told each one of the team members, we are all different. We all see things different. We all can feel things different, emotions, etc. It's not that there's anything bad about it. It's we are different, but we do have similarities, and that's where we've got to start working together. To put the evidence together afterwards as well. Because they might perceive something a little different than I did. Doesn't mean they're wrong.
Right.
You need to listen and understand.
Right. Well, I mean, you need, constructive criticism is one thing, but when you're calling somebody a liar, with fake evidence, and you're trying to get hundreds of people believing what you say and going back and talk, I mean, it's ridiculous, and people, they need to get back to why they truly fell in love with the paranormal field. I mean, dude, like, I'm an old schooler, guys. I'm an old schooler. I'm 46, and I remember using red Solo cups with ping pong balls, and then
Yep.
you used to take them and rub them on your head and get the static electricity, and then you put them on top, and if something gets close to it, it'll pull the ball to it. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to where, you know, people really love this field, and loving the people of this field, because before long, you know, we're not going to have any locations. We're not going to have any people in these locations. You know, we're not going to be a paranormal field, and it's sad, but we need some of us who are strong enough to step forward and, you know, and be the change that we want to see.
Agreed.
That's one of the
Very
things
much so.
I also say, and I know Pam's heard me say this 100 times before, but you know, I'm wanting to help those people that don't understand, and
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
explain it to them what's going on and why things are happening to the best that I can. And if
Right.
I can't find the answer, trust me, I've got several people I can go ask and find out and get another opinion. You know,
Mhm.
but
You know,
yeah,
it's like being on Victor's show. Somebody might agree with one singer, somebody else might agree with the other singer, but it's okay because we're still collaborating. We're
That's it.
still, you know, we're not putting anyone down, or it's the
That's it.
same thing. I mean, and it's the same thing in life too.
Hmm.
I think mainly people don't know what faith is anymore, so that's why they're
Right.
not getting anywhere. And
Right.
there's people that say they've been preachers and now they don't believe in God, and you know, well, what I mean, that's their own, but you know,
Right. Right.
you know,
It's tricky, you know, because, you know, I am a heavy believer in God. I do. I do, because I know what God has done in my life.
right,
Um, but, you know, just because someone else doesn't believe in the same things that I do, doesn't make me to where I don't want to talk to them. You know,
right,
the Bible says that iron sharpens iron.
right,
So if you take your side of that sword and you getting it sharpened, exactly what it was, and the other person is doing the same thing for the right benefit,
recess,
why
right,
can't you guys work together?
right,
very
yeah.
true.
It's
Very true.
sad. It's sad because there's a lot of great investigators out there,
Really?
and they're clashing because of they don't believe what the other person says. Well, just because you
So,
don't believe it doesn't mean that you can't, you know,
right.
collaborate and talk to them, or
Yeah.
you know,
That you can't be civil, that you can't be a human being.
right,
You know, and one thing is, man, they have to realize that you're never going to be 100% right. There is no scientific fact behind it. We are paranormalists. We are people who try to find those answers. But to use the term professional and expert in this field, you might as well exit yourself up,
I
because
was
there
just going
are
to
no
ask you
experts.
that question.
There
I
are
was
no experts. There are no professionals. They need to stop, because
right,
in order for us to be an expert, we have to have a scientific method that can
right,
clearly back up what I saw, what you saw, and there's not. So, I mean, we all need to realize that we're all a work in progress. We are all here to learn. And the only way that we can truly do that in this field
is
is off each other.
right. And
You're
I've
right.
even heard somebody say that they were more professional than the rest of us because of how they did EVPs. Well, that doesn't make you a professional. There
No,
is no professional.
no,
There
no.
is no professional paranormal investigator.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You know, I'm not an investigator. I love to go on investigations, but
Right.
I never tell anyone that I'm an investigator, only because I'm not out for a title. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
not out for that. I'm not looking for someone to say, "Oh, you know, take my name and put it on the back of your name and you'll be part of my team," and you know,
Right. Right. Right.
like that makes them big or something, you know.
Well, it's, yeah. Then, I mean, you do it because you have a love for it, you know, and that's
Right.
where we all have to get back to that, you know. You
Yeah.
know, you get in, start going to all these paracons and stuff like that, and your table has to be better than somebody else's. Your shirts have to be better. I mean, look,
Mm-mm.
people are gonna love you because of who you are,
Right.
and if they
Exactly.
see
You to help them.
that you don't change, and that you're there to help, you're there to make this paracon
And
better.
to
You're there
learn
to
at the
make
same
this
time.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's important. And the people
said,
just don't look at it like that anymore.
your reputation and how you understand things will bring people to you,
Hmm.
and when that happens, that's when you can help the people that actually need it as well.
Right,
And I
right.
think that's why Outer Realms has, and Sean too with EEWPP is that's why you have so many followers. Is because you are willing to help, you are willing to learn or look at something on, and not put someone down for what they've
Right,
seen or what they thought
right.
they've seen or you know.
And that's it. That's it. You said it in a nutshell right there. Is we've been growing for 6 months. We've had outer realms for 6 months, and I have a UK page and I have a regular page, and we just passed 1,600 members on each page.
That's awesome.
So that's
That's
32
awesome.
in 6 months, and we're not about numbers like this because we give a personalized welcome.
Hmm.
We go on, every single person gets a personalized welcome by my wife and I, and then we make team cards and has their title, name, picture. So they'll go on there and they'll drop their team card on there, and it shows the people, wow, they're really, they're so friendly here. They're reaching out because I'm going to be the change that I want to see.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
And I got to be terribly honest, I haven't joined, but I'm joining right now.
please do, please. We love to have. We have 2 pages. We have two, but yeah, just join Outer Realms, and one of the pages was under construction again. So, whenever you have something happen where someone tries to change your name or something like that, like Facebook makes you wait 30 days to get your name back, and that's what we had
No.
going. We had somebody actually try to change our name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Um,
I I got to say one thing. I did take a page out of your book because, like you said, you kind of reach out to everybody and say, welcome to the page. I tried to at least once a week get on there and say, hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for following us, etc. I try
Hmm.
to do that at least once a week because I
Yeah,
do notice people hopping on, and I want them to be recognized, even though I can't personally sit there and pick out every name off the bat when I
right,
do it, but at least I want them to know they're welcome to the page. So
right. Well, see, what I do, what my wife and I do is like, let's say if she goes on right now and sees 5 members, she creates a custom made welcome post where she takes like a paranormal picture or something. It says welcome to our group or something like that, and she posts that. And then if you go into the comments, it says, welcome to our team. It's a pleasure having you here. Please feel free to share, just whatever. And it's a customization from my wife and I as founders. And then Shani will pop on, and she's my UK director, and she'll put one on. So, but we do that because we care about each and every single person. And
right.
even if that welcome post, that welcome those 5 people. But every time that we post or every time that we put a welcome on there, every single person, all 3,200 have gotten a welcome post from us.
That's great. And
Mhm.
my confession is I haven't done anything with my page. I am terrible about it. My life is just too busy.
No,
Um,
I get.
so, and I don't do lives like I probably should, but one
uh,
of these days.
yeah, Pam, I noticed we had somebody that would like to have a reading earlier today.
I seen that.
So,
Yes.
maybe we might have to hop on here a little later and have another show.
Yeah, we
Oh,
will.
So, but
Yeah.
So, what is one of the have you ever done residentials at first?
No,
I mean,
I do a lot of them.
okay. So, have you ever? What's the most bizarre thing you've ran into on a residential case?
Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you one thing is not only, but this happened in my old house that I used to. It was close to 3 in the morning, about 2:45, and I hear a knock at my door, and there's a window right there to look in, and I looked out. And there's literally this black-haired girl standing there looking down like this.
Hmm.
She knocked again. I went back to the window and I looked, and she looked up at me. Guys, the blackest eyes you've ever seen.
I've heard
Wow.
about them.
And I saw that, and I turned around immediately. I said, "Come here and look at this." And then by the time I did, she was gone. And the thing is that, like, there was a field in front that you can see. The house was wide open to the left and right, so you would have to literally see someone walking on both sides right up. There was nothing. So I have seen a black-eyed child. That is one thing that I've seen. I've seen Hat Man, black hooded figures. Matter of fact, we live here in South Carolina, and there is a patch of woods right over here that we have found that this is all Indian land right here. And when you walk down to the wooded line right here, there's there's just an ominous feeling when you walk down there. And I was walking down, and clear as day, this black hooded figure walked out right there. And this is during the day, and walked into the woods. And Buddy and I, our dog, we walked down there because he saw it too.
Mm-hmm.
We went down there, and the thing is there was no place for this person to go because it literally dropped into a swamp. So there was no way someone could walk in there and just walk through without going in that swamp, and there was nothing there. That was the one time that we saw it. And then my wife went out, and we both saw it again in this area. We were at a tree, and it looked like someone went like this and popped out to the side with both of us at different times. And she said, "I just saw that black hooded figure." So we're gonna go out there with some equipment, and we're gonna see if we can catch anything out there, and because I really want to know, what's going on. But as far as the residential guys, I've seen, now, like I said, I'm a demonologist, so I deal with a lot of people who have infestations, who has oppression and stuff like that, and I think one of the worst ones I've seen was a child. The dark entity will latch on to the innocence of that child.
Mm-hmm.
It will change that child. Drastic measures change the child. And, if you're able to help that family by, if your child tells you, and here's the thing, his mom found out that he had an imaginary friend, and his name was Charlie. Well, Charlie was trying to get him to go and jump out of a window to go join him on the outside of that window. And this is 2 floors. Charlie was getting him to stick knives in the electric sockets.
Wow.
Charlie was telling him to mark up the walls and with certain symbols that he was telling him to draw. This is a 3-year-old boy. So he was putting these, he was drawing these things because he said Charlie told him to do it. Then I found that his mom uh, played a Ouija board. So my thing is when I go into a residential, if a tree is producing bad fruit, you don't stand underneath the limb and watch it continuously produce bad fruit. You have to
Right.
quit looking at the fruit and you have to look at the root of the problem. So I looked and I saw the root, and between her Ouija board and having a seance, having stuff like that, it was affecting her 3-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a very proper cleansing. I do every single wall, every single door frame, every window on top of the TV, above the bed. I use holy water. I use holy oil. I use particular prayers that I use, and I do everywhere around the house. Every single wall, every single window, every single mirror. I close all entryways, doorways, and portals. I close them. I get right at the end, and then right at the end, I'll take a REM pod and stick it in the doorway frame. And the homeowner finally comes and commands her house back. And we pray the strength of Michael the Archangel for his house back. And we command it to leave. And sure enough, you can see the REM pod going right off. And it's out the house. So then I seal the house. I go out in their yard and I take a Benedict medallion to their yard and I bury it and I pour holy water on top of it. So I seal not only their house, but their land, and I do it the right way. And they've had no more issues.
Have you ever ran into a situation where a parent didn't believe what the child was telling them?
Yeah, that was one of them. That was one of them. Like that whole
Yeah.
invisible friend or whatever. Oh, that's just a kid thing, you know. But once I did the interview, once I really found out everything that was going on, I found that it went a lot deeper than that. And not only that, but listen to this. They did the Ouija board. They did the Ouija board while she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
That didn't help any at all.
So then you wonder why your son's got an imaginary friend, and it's turning dark. I mean, her son was getting to where, like, he cut his mom with a knife. He cut up his bed. But one good thing that I did is when I cleansed his room, I sealed his closet. His closet had an immense form of energy coming from it. Like, I mean, you felt dread when you got near his closet. So I went inside his closet and I put holy oil on the top of his closet. I did holy water on the rest of the walls. And I sealed Charlie. I said, you are no longer welcome in here. This is not your home. You do not have rights to be here. This family is commanding you in the name of Jesus that you have to get out of here. And as soon as I did, that energy that was there just lifted. I knew he wasn't gone yet. He was in other parts, but there at the end, he was 100%. Because what I do, guys, is I build a fence up around families. I build a fence. I start one side and I build all the way around to where the entity is on the outside of that fence and can't get back in anymore.
Exactly.
And then we get it to where it goes, and it has to go back to where it came from. And that's my goal, is to do just that.
That's awesome.
I've had some where we've just our first investigation as a team, we've had it where an entity was there in the house. You could tell it was heavy, and they had a lot of mirrors in there. We fixed the mirrors.
Oh,
and changed them around and closed the portals in them. And also we christened the ground. And when we were doing it from the back to the front of the property. So like you said, we were pushing it off the property. And when we did, and then we christened the rest of the ground, and she hasn't had a problem since then.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'll tell you, man, if you get little Benedict medallions, little Benedict, what I do is when like the kid's bed, I took a Benedict medallion and it's blessed. And I put it in between his mattress. And I sealed above his bed, and then I put one on the outside of the yard. So I seal the inside of their house out and then back in, so nothing can come in from that point.
Yes, yeah.
They're really Benedict. Benedict was the first exorcist, their first successful exorcist. That
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought you had one on.
yeah, that's a Benedict. So. And you can get them relatively cheap. You can get you get, hold on, let me see if I've got one on my pocket. Hold on.
Yeah, I've used obsidian crosses and marked off the
Yeah,
corners of
yeah.
the properties and the
Yep.
corners of the house.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
hold on. I don't know if you guys can see it.
yeah, I can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah, I use these. That's what goes in the yard and underneath the beds, and they're blessed, and they you know, praise God, I have not had any returns. I have not had any to where I have to go back and fix something or continue with it, because I leave the family with ways to strengthen that fence that was built.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a family that didn't pay attention to what you told them and ended
Mhm.
up with more problems?
Yep, sure did. And I don't like talking about TIP. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to talk about it. I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, I think we've all come across that at one point or another.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, for sure.
when they don't listen and things just keep going, and until they listen, you can't really do anything, because you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Right.
Right.
So, but
But
you
if
gotta,
you know that you have things that have affected you before, and you continue doing the same things, doing the same thing day in and day out and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity.
Yep, it is exactly is.
So, I mean, look, you're right. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. I gave this family the tools that they needed to continue. I told you exactly what was closed, what was done in the house, what never needs to be done again. Their house was protected. What ended up happening? They brought a seance back in one night while they were drinking. And I mean, what do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
One of our, I think our third investigation as a team, we had an elderly lady. She was hearing things in the house, and she had shadows. Well, me and three of the teammates went there one night, and we decided we were going to go live, and then we decided not to, because she was a nervous wreck to begin with. She was like really freaked out that we were going to find something bad. Well, come to find out, we set up our equipment. We were going around. We were checking things out. We come to find out, there's two little kids there. And the only thing they did was make noises and stuff. And she says, "Are you sure that's what it is?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm pretty positive that they're the kids." And she says, "Well, if they're little kids, they can stay. But if they cause problems, I'm calling you back." And I said, "That's fine." So anyway, we sat there and we talked, and she went back there and she was talking, and it come over the ovulus, and then they were joking with her. they were actually responding back to what she said. You know, I think they were kind of more or less looking for a grandma at the time. So as we got ready to pack up and stuff, and I said, "Why don't you play some music every day?" And she says, "I do. I play music every day." I said, "They seem to like that." And I said, "Maybe sit down and read a book once in a while." And she goes, "Okay." So I let about a week go by after the team left and knocked on the door. And I said, "How things going?" She goes, "Oh, I'm so great that you guys did what you did. And things have been going great. No more major things have happened. And it's just been so calm." And she says, "After I understand kind of what's going on, it wasn't so bad after all." And I was like, "That's what we're here for, you know?" So
Yeah.
but she really appreciated that. And she thought that was
That's
cool.
That's awesome. That is. So you guys do you do residential also? I mean, you
Yeah. I've done several residentials on my old team that I was on,
right.
and we've done 3 or 4 since the new team started.
Well, you got me to help too. If you need a demonologist, I'll be glad to help you.
Oh, that's
That's
cool. That's
great.
grateful. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I take shaman
And
classes and
Shane,
stuff.
anytime you
I've been
guys,
doing that. So
yeah, anytime you have a live or anything you want to share, feel free to share it to my page also.
yeah.
I don't when I do a residential, I don't go live.
No, most
I
people don't.
I I really take confidentiality seriously. You know, I've got evidence on my phone and stuff like that, and I'm not going to post it out there
Yeah.
because
I mean,
too
if
many.
there's anything that you guys do that you want to share, I mean, any
Okay.
post or anything, feel free to share it to my page.
That's one of the things I do when we do go to a residential. You know, if they don't want us to go live, we won't go live. We'll respect
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
if we do go live, then we limit certain things we say. You know, so
Right.
but
Right.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
Yeah.
you're in their homes. You know, you're going to each and every room, and you know,
Mhm.
you're exposing. You know, not only what's affecting this family, you're exposing their physical place of residence.
Right.
right.
And
That,
I don't have it in the heart for me to do that.
Yeah.
but when we do, we also say it's an undisclosed location, so we don't tell them where we're at the time either. So,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
but like I said, that's totally up to the client when we get there, because we kind of like to show the people what we experienced when we were doing it. That's the point of
Yes.
it. While we're helping the client as well. So,
Mm,
hello,
that's good.
Victor. Hello, Lori.
Hey guys.
But yeah, we leave that up to them. But that's one of the things, like I said, I do like to help the people understand what's going on and help them out, because I hate seeing people that are going through issues that can't be explained and nobody wants to help them.
Right.
They call upon a team that goes in there and they do an investigation and they shake up the house and do nothing to help them. I mean, you know, they're not going to call you for you to go in there and just do a YouTube investigation and then leave. You
Right.
know, I
Right.
spend time with them, guys. There's some. I've worked cases for 3.5 months before I went and did, because I get everything down. We found out where they start, where how long it's been going on. I have so much history when I go into the house. Then when I finally do the interview, the sit down interview, before I start doing the house, I know a lot about them already. I build rapport with them. I check up on them, and uh, and then the day that we do the cleansing is I like to call that the freedom day, because they're gonna sleep good that night,
Right.
Exactly.
and that's what makes me feel good about
So Shane, do you use just basic recorder? Or you just, or is there other equipment that you like to use?
it. I use an Ericsson, just uh, I've got I've got a guy named John Huntington who builds some of the best spirit boxes you've ever had in your entire life. If you guys don't know who John Huntington is, look him up. He's going to be on our first network podcast next Monday, so you can feel free. I've never seen anyone in my entire life with a better spirit communication than that man right there.
Wow.
He's built my box. He built my wife's, and he does them at a decent rate. You know, he doesn't try to overcharge. He doesn't nothing, and
Yeah.
and they're some of the best boxes that you get. He just made me. They're gonna come tomorrow. He just made me 2 music boxes that have the 360 range. That literally, if something moves on the other side of the wall, it will set this music box up, and it's got a 25-foot radius.
Wow.
That sounds cool.
So, and guys, he literally makes these. I mean, just look him up. Look him up. Look up John Huntington, and just tell him Shane sent you. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm telling you, any equipment that if you're thinking about getting a spirit box or something like that, get it from John Huntington, because you will love it, and you will have the best results, because it's coming from a highly reputable person who really loves this field.
I jotted
I mean-
his name down here. There.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell by just what he has on his page that he
Mhm.
loves it. So,
And just go down and listen to some of them, because like he's got some videos to where he'll cut it on and he's cooking bacon, right? And he'll cut it on and he'll say what am I cooking? And you can hear him. It'll say bacon, bacon. And then it
wow.
says hi John. It says hi John. And he's held up cards before, like playing cards. He was like, what card am I holding up? And you can hear it. It'll go through and it'll say Jack. And he'll say Jack of what? Diamonds. You know,
Wow.
you'll never see a spirit communicator like him again. And I'm telling you, he's phenomenal. He's going to be on our first network show for Get Haunted next week. So you guys stay tuned. Because
That'll be
I'm
super
gonna
exciting.
get him to do a live spirit box session at the end.
Wow.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah, y'all look him up. Y'all look up John Huntington, and just tell him Shane sent you. He knows. I talk to him on a daily basis.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just looking at, some of his equipment. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome looking, even. I mean, just the looks
Build
of it are cool.
Yeah. Oh, he builds them out of old. He does them out of old radios, and he really takes the time. I mean, like the adjustments for speed on the channel sweep is it's so good, and you can find the perfect speed for you to where you can understand, you can communicate, I mean, it's just all around a great box.
Wow.
I will definitely check that out.
Yeah. I knew someone that was building those out of old radios, and I
Mhm.
never did get one, but heck,
Oh,
I
you
would
can
love to just buy the radio.
just get, and not only that, but he really takes his time. He makes wooden ones. He makes round cylinder ones.
Yeah.
He makes rim dolls.
Wow.
Like he does ET dolls. He makes them to where they're REM pods.
Hmm.
He's phenomenal at what he does, and guys, he takes care of his mom. His mom is I think has Alzheimer's or something, but he takes care of his mom full time. So
Wow.
anytime that I share his videos and I try to get him business and stuff like that, because he really cares about the people of this industry. He cares about what kind of equipment they have, and he wants people to have really good quality equipment. And I love John Hunter. I would back him 1,000,000%. And I would tell you guys, if you guys want a good spirit communicated built box, go to John Huntington and you'll get probably the best one you've ever had.
Definitely will do that.
I'll definitely look into that as well.
Yes.
Well, Shane, it's been an hour and 12 minutes. This time has flown.
Mhm.
I will definitely have to have you back on the show again, along with your wife and your director.
UK director. Yep.
Also, I think you had a UK co-director, did you not? Alan Ellis?
Well, we are in transition, doing a lot of there. I do not right now have a co-director for the UK, but we're in the works with some big stuff with other teams right now.
Yeah, because I remember when I first talked to you, he reached out to me and he said, "Your last name's Ellis too," and I was like, "Yep." I really didn't know. I don't really know a lot about the Ellis side more than my mom's side because
Right.
I know a lot.
Yeah, there was some issues there that happened, around, but we're reforming, we're resetting the UK side over there, and we're gonna make it the best that we can.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. Is there anything you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Well, thank you guys for having me. It really means a lot for me to be here with you guys. Just thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here. You guys go check out Outer Rims Paranormal and Outer Rims Paranormal UK division. We would love to see each and every one of you there. And shout out to Get Haunted, for our network that we use. And just we love you guys, and we love each and every one of you. And just be blessed always and stay spooky.
All righty. Well, thank you, Shane, for coming on the show, and I will be in touch with you sometime this week, and we'll reschedule a part 2 to this show with your wife and your
And Shane.
Is it Shayna?
Shane.
Shane. I didn't want to chop her name. I'd rather just said Miss Page, but I didn't know how to pronounce the I on the end of that. But
yeah, Shaney.
Okay, but yeah, we'll definitely have to have another show with the 3 of you on because this was definitely interesting and it was a great show. And I hope everybody tunes in and watches this and shares this out and has a great weekend this weekend. What's left of it.
Yep. Thank you guys again for having us. Thank you, and it was a pleasure. And you guys be blessed yourself. Okay.
Thank you. You too, and many prayers to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you guys. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Oh, there you go. I, for some reason, he popped off as well.
That's okay. That was great.
We're still live, so. But yeah, that was a great interview. Shane's a good guy, and
he is.
We're definitely going to have him on again as well.
Yeah. So, I just love the outlook.
Well, when I seen him on Victor's show, there's a lot of things he said that I really related to from some of the stuff that I've been in the field with, and he did exactly the same things I've done, and that's one of the things I liked about him. Is the fact that we were on the same level when he was talking about things because, like I said, I've experienced the same things out in the field as well with him. And maybe the next show we have him on and his wife and his his director, we can dig more into stuff out in the field and experiences a little more. But otherwise, I thought it was a great interview. He did a great job.
It was great. Yeah.
So, Miss Pam, my next question is: we had some people wanting some cards read. Are we going to have another show here a little later tonight?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
You want to do that?
We can do that here in about an hour or so.
About an hour? Okay.
Or when would you like to do that?
An hour's fine.
So that'd be about 9:17 or so. How about we make it about 9:30?
Okay.
You're an hour ahead of me, I think, still.
Yeah.
So it'll be about 10 there. But
Yeah.
we'll make it about 9:30. We'll hop on again and we'll do some tarot cards for the people that
Okay.
want tarot cards done. So
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for your joining in, and Pam for coming on and co-hosting tonight.
Thank you for having me.
This week is kind of a busy week for me. So this Friday, I will be in Galena with Miss Jamie Lynn Keller for Friday and Saturday for an expo.
Big shout out to Jamie Lynn Keller. Love you, girl.
We will be that then. And also, let me find my schedule here. We have Mary Spezza. I hope I didn't chop her name up too bad. She will be our guest on April 21st. She does tarot cards. She does a little of everything, and she's also an actress.
Cool.
So
that's interesting.
And she does investigations as well. So we will have her on the show on April 21st.
Okay.
So, and I'm looking forward to that one as well. So, all righty. Well, everyone, I hope you had a great weekend and what's left of it. And we will see you next time. And if it allows me to, on Friday and Saturday, I will try to go live from the expo a little bit on and off throughout the day. If you want to tune in and catch me, I can't tell you exactly what times I'll be on and off, but I'll be popping on and on the page and showing what's going on from the expo when we're there.
All right. Well, thanks again, and thanks everyone for stopping in.
Yep.
And I hope everyone has a great weekend.
All right. And for those that want to have some cards read, tune in about an hour and we'll be back on the air.
We'll be back.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.